Hello, friends. Thank you for stopping in on Lessons with Joel, Piano Lessons with Joel. There's a lot of places you could be for your piano lessons. I'm delighted that you stopped by here. So this is my very first video. And this might be your very first video on learning to play the piano. So if that's the case, you're in the right place because this is going to be a set of 3 videos where you don't even need to have a piano. This might be before you've bought your piano. You're trying to decide what to do there. So what we'll do in this video and the next 2 videos is just to kind of get our feet wet, lay the groundwork so we have an idea of what's coming up once we get our piano, once we get our book, and we get all our materials. So right now in this video, you don't need anything except for it to watch and then go ahead and participate at home as we go through the different activities. So let's get started. Today, we are going to learn some simple stretches to do with our hands to help limber them up. We'll introduce ourselves to rhythm. We'll do some simple rhythm, and I actually have rhythm cards right here that we're going to do together. Then we'll talk about a couple items that we'll need going forward if you don't have them already. And then, yes, that does say homework, but please don't let that concern you. The homework will be just a review of everything that we've done here, including, if necessary, go ahead and watch this video again. If there's something that you didn't quite get the first time, go back and watch it again. All right, so let's start out with stretching. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to move my stool out of the way, and I'll switch cameras here. And we'll do a little bit of hand stretching. Now, I'm assuming, again, if you're watching this video, you are a complete beginner, which is fantastic. Welcome aboard to the piano lifestyle, right? Okay, so that being said, we need to kind of loosen up our hands because our hands might not be as agile as we would like them to be for playing the piano. So first thing we're going to do, let's take your 4 fingers like this and gently, you can straighten out your arm. I'll do it this way so you can see that as well. Straighten out your arm and gently pull back. As soon as you start feeling any bit of pain, then that's too much, right? You want to do this as gently as possible. Sorry, I'm trying to keep myself in the camera here. Gently as possible. Okay, and just pull them back, all 4 fingers, gently, and then let it go. Okay, go ahead and shake that out. All right, let's do that same hand one more time. So with me, gently. Now again, your hand might be your hand might be starting here. It might be starting there, and that's fine because this is the first time, right? Mine's back just a little bit further. Okay, and as soon as you feel just a little bit of tightness and pulling there, go ahead and stop. So we're trying to stretch out the muscles all down in here as well as those fingers way up there. All right, now let's talk about our thumb. We're going to do a stretch with our thumb too. And that we're going to just grab hold of the thumb that way and just gently pull it back until you feel a little bit of stretching going on right in here with all the muscles and tendons and so forth. Okay, gently, and that's it. And let it up. Give it a shake, shake. All right, let's do the other hand. Same thing with the other hand. Stretch that arm out and gently just pull that back. Gently just pull that back. All right. And let's do the thumb, and we'll go back and do the fingers again, right? Okay, pull it back. As we're doing this, let me know throughout the course of this lesson today if something's not clear. Let me know about the setup that I have here, if a particular, let's do the thumb, if a particular video angle is not quite clear enough for you. Let me know how the audio is coming through. Can you hear me? Can you hear me when I'm speaking? Because again, I've just got all this set up. I have cameras all over, phone cameras and webcams and so forth all over. So let me know if something's not coming through clearly for you. Okay, so those are our stretches that we're doing without the keyboard. Now let's get to some stretching that we can do either at the piano, if you have a piano or a keyboard of some type at home, or you could do this on a counter or at your desk. Anything that you have. If you have a piano, great. If not, great. We'll do the same thing. All right, so let me sit back down here. I'm going to be up and down, and let me, um, yeah, let's go to this view. You know what? Let's, sorry, let's go to a side view here. And right now I'm using my right hand, and I'm right in the middle of the piano. I haven't told you about any notes that are on the piano. That is fine. I'm right in the middle of the piano, and I'm going to make sure my wrist is elevated, not down here. Bring your wrist up here, and I'm going to slowly lift up my thumb and bring it down. I'm going to keep that thumb down until my next finger does the same thing. So this is my index finger. We'll call that finger number 2. And now I'm going to do my third finger up and down. And you can probably feel that stretch. And let's do the next finger up and down. And the pinky finger up and down. Okay, now let me show you that view from the top. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Figuring out where all my cameras are here. All right, so same thing. I'm going to start here with my thumb. I'm going to bring it up and down. And let's do our second finger, which is our index finger, up. Stretch it up and down. Okay, remember to keep that wrist elevated. And next finger up and down. Promise you my hand is really not that red. And then next finger up and down. That fourth finger is going to be a little bit heavy for you, right? And let's do the pinky. Up and down. All right, we can do the same thing. Remember, you can be doing this on your desk. You can be doing this on your kitchen counter and down. And up and down. Up, down, and up and down. Okay, and then let's go ahead and shake that out. All right. Same thing with the left hand, okay? So I'll leave it in this view here. We're going to bring our thumb up and down. Feel all that stretching going on there. Okay, stretch out the first finger, and let's go down. And now we're on to the ring finger, fourth finger. Up, oh, and down. Remember to keep this wrist above the keyboard, and then pinky up and down. All right, let me see if I can get to my side view for the left hand here. Is it this one? Oh, that's the wrong one. How about this one here? Yay, that one there. All right, we'll do the same thing so you can see from the side this time. Here's the thumb and down. Third finger. Okay, keep your wrist elevated here. And down. And now pinky. All right, now let's go back up. Start with the pinky and go back up. So we'll stretch that out and bring it down. All right. And up. Third finger, which is your middle finger. Second finger is your index finger. Stretch it up and then bring it down. Okay. So you could do this together. If I'm in a meeting and I know I have a rehearsal coming up. And down. And we're both thumbs on middle C there. Okay. So you have two stretches that you can begin doing. You have our hand stretching here. Okay. And maybe just do, 5 seconds of this and then let it go, do your thumb. And then maybe while you're eating your breakfast, you can do some stretching as we just did on the keyboard, but go ahead and do that on your kitchen counter. Just bring it up and down, up and down. Okay, so there are some stretching that you can do to start getting your hands mobilized to play the piano. All right, moving on. What's the next thing on our list here? Okay, so we went over the stretching. Let's go to rhythm and do some actual rhythm cards. Okay, yes, my friends, we're going to have actual rhythm cards that you will be responsible for clapping and saying the counts and rhythmic syllables along with me. All right, so I'm going to stand up again and let me get to this one here. Incidentally, I'm still working on all the cameras and the definition of the camera, we'll say, because you can see that I have different lighting going on with this camera. Exposure, I guess, is the word I'm looking for there. All right. Here, we have, make sure I'm in focus here. These are called quarter notes. Okay. And for now, we're going to say that these quarter notes sound on every beat. So they get one beat. So a quarter note gets one beat. We are going to call them, I'm going to put this rhythm up on the board here. When we clap and say them, this is the G line. We haven't talked about the staff yet, but this is the G line. Okay, that's the same rhythm that I have on the card there. When we clap and say these, we're going to say ta for each one. Now, if you have little children, younger children, even if they're older now, you're probably familiar with some of these rhythmic syllables that we're going to use here. Why? Because they just seem to work. We'll talk about the counts as well. We'll do that in just a minute. All right, so when we clap and say this, we're going to say ta on each beat. So this rhythm right here will sound like ta, 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 ta. Okay, it is right on the beat. Okay, so let's do that together. When we do this, I need for you to actively participate with me. So when we clap these, you can use your magical two-finger clap is what I call this. You can clap like this. You can tap your pencil on your hand. You can tap these on your lap if you like. But I need for you to be involved with this here, okay? Physically do something to feel these rhythms. All right, here we go. We'll say it as we do it. Ready and go. Ta, 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 ta. Nice. Let's do it again. Ready and go. Ta, 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 ta. And if I show this card to you, we'll say it again. Ready, last time. Ta, 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 ta. Nice. Okay, now let's talk about a different rhythm, different part of a rhythm. See, am I in focus here? This is a rest. Okay, so this is a quarter rest. This is a quarter note. We call that a quarter note. This is a quarter rest. One beat of sound, one beat of silence. Okay, so the only difference between this note and this rest here is that this note tells you to create sound. This rest tells you to create silence. All right, let me put this one on the board too. So for this, all I need to do, I'm going to take away the last note here that tells us create sound, and I'm going to insert the equal rest that tells us to create silence. And for silence, we're going to show that just like this. Okay, so this we have ta, ta, ta. Do that with me. Ready and go. Ta, ta, ta. All right. Shall we clap this card? Ready and go. Ta, ta, ta. All right. Well done. And again, I'll put some of these in the down below for you to click on, and you can practice some of these at home during your practice sessions. All right. Okay, you've probably noticed already that these two notes here are beamed together. We have one here, we have one here. So these notes are called eighth notes. Okay, this is an eighth note, and this is an eighth note. Okay, And in this case, they are they're beamed together, we'll say. All right, they're connected. Let me put that rhythm on the board and we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to use what I have up here. Let's see. I have to remove the ta because in that rhythm, we don't have a ta at the beginning. We have a... that's not as neat. And just like we've been calling it, that's a ta there, and that's a ta there. Now, these two notes that go twice as fast as the quarter note or the ta, we're going to say TT. Okay? Anybody have heard that before? TT or TTs and tas? All right. So this might be taking a lot of you back to when you were in school, which is fantastic. We have something to meet on there. All right. So this rhythm will sound like this: T T ta, T T ta. Okay. Listen to that again. T T ta, T T ta. All right. Now before we clap that, let me explain a little bit more on what's going on here. So every beat has a down part of the beat and an up part of the beat. Okay, we're going to keep it simple for now. We have a down and we have an up. All right. So this T is on the down T, and this one is on the up. T, T, and then this ta is taking up the entire beat. So it gets the down and the up of the beat, right? So that gets the up as well in there. So we have T, T, ta, T, T, ta. All right? Say that again with me. Ready and go. T, T, ta, T, T, ta. All right, now let's do this card together. Okay, and again, you're tapping. I should have been tapping up here, right? Or you're clapping, or something, right? Something that is involving you with this rhythm here. All right, let's do it. Ready and go. T, T, ta, T, T, ta. One more time, go. And T, T, ta, T, T, ta. Nice. All right. Excuse me. Let's do one more. Okay, take a look at this card. Okay, let's do it together. Ready and go. T, 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 ta. One more time, go. And T, 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 ta. Nice. All right, now we will get to counting this. Okay, we have to talk about the time signature. We have to talk about the beat counts in here. We'll get there, all right? So for now, we're using TTs and we're using tas. And we know that we have a rest, that a quarter rest, that gets a beat of silence. Let's do one more. It just occurred to me. Let's put a rest in here in a rhythm that we have a TT in, right? Let's take this TT out. And let's put a rest in there. Okay. All right. What will this one sound like? I'm going to use my pen for this. Pencil. All right. Let's say it. Ready and go. T, T, ta, ta. Nice. Let's do it again. Ready and go. T, T, ta, ta. All right. Well done, my friends. So that little section there that we just did, if you want to go back and watch that again, go ahead and get some more practice with the rhythms. Okay, these are some basic rhythms that will help us, we'll have something to build on. All right, moving on. I think we need to get to, we did some stretching. You know what the stretching looks like now. We did our rhythm. Let's talk about a couple different items that I recommend. Well, this one here is definite. If you're going to continue with me, which I would love to have you continue with me, it'd be fantastic. This one here is highly recommended. So let's take a look at what that is. Get my bench back over here. And let's get to this one here. All right, so you've probably already noticed that I have on here, this is a keyboard overlay. Okay, you can buy these, and I'll have the link below, and they go right on top of your piano keyboard, and they fit in there. Notice that this goes right behind the black keys there. And if this one fits this piano very nicely. I happen to have a Roland FP30X here, and they fit in there quite nicely. Now, it also comes with almost the rest of the keyboard. So these are notes that would go way up there, and then I have another one over there which would go down here. We're not going to need them for a while. Okay, so I'm going to set them back off to the side. So this will help you find your notes in the beginning. You're not going to need this forever, but it is very helpful, and it's not very expensive. Now, here's a little caveat with it. I'm not sure how well these will fit behind all electric pianos or standard acoustic pianos. Meaning if you have an upright piano with strings in it, if you have a grand piano at home, fantastic. I'm not sure if that's going to work so well for you. You can give it a try. This works really well. Check the comments on the on the link where you see this to see if it maybe somebody had any issues with the piano that you have or keyboard that you have. Of course, if you don't have a keyboard yet, then we can talk about that maybe in a different video. So this is going to help us learn our note names. That has a fall board. You know, a fall board is what goes over top of the keys when you're not playing it. You might consider, let me get this old one out. That looks like this, and I'll get this up here. Okay, now this is what I used when I was learning to play the piano years and years and years ago. Let's see if I have it corrected. Okay, and I will say, you can see it says, Playtime Keyboard Guide for use with music for every day. The copyright on this is 1923. I'm not that old. But I did use this as I was growing up. This was my mom's. My mom and her sister used this on their piano when they were learning. And we had, of course, the grand piano. So if you have a grand piano, I don't know if this is going to work on an upright piano because of the music rack and so forth, but a grand piano, something like this would work as well. Okay, so those are two options for you. This is what I used when I was learning piano many years ago. I'm pretty sure they still make them. That's the only one I ever had. I never had the need to look for another one. So, but for these lessons, this keyboard overlay, I believe, is a great solution to help. All right, and the last thing I want to go over before we're done here, we're not taking too much time here, is the book that we will use in our lessons, should you stick around with piano lessons with Joel. This is the Alfred's Basic Adult Piano Course, all-in-one piano course. So this is going to have our worksheets in it that we can do. I'll provide some additional ones, but this will have our worksheets in it. This has our theory in it. It has what we're going to be practicing in it, and we're going to use this as our guide in addition to anything that we'll have on the board and practicing and other homework PDFs. The PDFs you can, whatever I link below as far as homework and so forth, you can print them out if you like. I believe that most of them you can probably just read them from the computer without printing them out. Okay, that is it for today, folks, in our first primer piano lesson, meaning before you actually get a piano, before we actually start lessons. So let's just do a quick review. We did, let's see, we did stretching. So start your stretching. Try to do that every day. Get that going every day. We did rhythm. Again, we worked with tas and TTs and rests. In one of the next lessons, we'll go over counting those exact same rhythms that we did. Yeah, I'm trying to point to all this. We talked about a keyboard overlay, the book. If you're going to stick with me, that's fantastic. But we will need that book at home for you to do your practicing. And then we talked about our homework. So, all right, friends. thank you so much for joining me today on our first pre-piano lesson. I hope to see you in the next lesson, and I hope to build a relationship and help you along your way going from a bystander to a musician as a pianist. Okay, thanks for joining me today. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.